Elon Musk unexpectedly reacts to Ukrainians' recent strike on Russian airfields. Zelensky unveils Ukrainians' proposal for Russian delegation in talks, and why Trump shares unfounded conspiracy theory claiming Biden was executed in 2020s. We will talk about this with political analyst, European Leadership Network UK member Alexandra Filippenko. Alexandra, glad to see you and thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here.
Alexandra, the security service of Ukraine strike on a Russian airfield was Ukraine's longest range operation. It was prepared for more than a year and a half, informs Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. SBU head Vasily Maluk reported to the president after the Spiderweb operation an absolutely brilliant result. A result achieved solely by Ukraine, 1 year, 6 months and 9 days from the start of planning to effective execution, our most long-range operation, Zelensky said. How does Ukrainians' Spiderweb operation prove that President Zelensky actually had some strong cards to play, despite President Trump's earlier claims that he had none?
Exactly. That's what the first thing that came to everyone's mind, that Zelensky knew that he had the cards, but he just couldn't really talk about it or give any information about the ongoing operation, the long and hard operation. We all understand this is the harshest strike throughout the full-scale invasion since 2022, and the harshest strike from the Ukrainian part. I think this can be compared to entering the Kursk region. Of course, this was very painful for the Kremlin. And now we see this operation, the outstanding operation, an audacious operation, amazing operation. You can use any words describing it, but this is very, very impressive. And all American analysts and everyone who is following the news and who is following what is going on with Russia's war in Ukraine are very, very impressed. And of course, at first, American media was cautious, talking about the numbers and talking about how it was conducted. But now they are a little bit more open about what has happened. And I see a lot of commentators, for example, the former CIA bureau chief who was stationed in Moscow, Dan Hoffman, he commented for Fox News, and he commented on this as a thing that can change the course of the war, and the thing that is needed to be seen also by the US specialists, also by the American side, that Ukraine really needs weapons. Ukraine needs to fight back, but if it doesn't have the means right now, Ukraine will find a way to strike, will find this spectacular way to fight. And then, of course, I think for everyone who is following the news in general, this reminded the operation, the Israeli operation with pagers. And of course, there are many comparisons. These are extremely, extremely audacious operations that really strike everyone and strike the minds of those who are following what is happening. So, of course, the Trump administration and everyone in the administration knows what's been going on, but we didn't see any reaction, any official reaction. We know of the phone call of the State Secretary Marco Rubio with Russia's Minister of Foreign Affairs, Sergei Lavrov, but they only talked about in general of the full-scale invasion of Ukraine. And Marco Rubio again said that there is a big need for the continuation of contacts between the two sides, and they really want to see, the Americans want to see the talks held by Ukraine and Russia. And he praised the upcoming talks, the talks that are happening right now in Istanbul. These were the only words that were said. And of course, Marco Rubio said a few words about trains with civilians. So they only talked about that, although we understand that the American side, of course, knows what's been going on. And of course, everyone is very, very impressed by what is going on. And psychologically, I think this would mean a game change for the Europeans, of course, and for the American side too, because now, yes, we see those cards. We see those cards by Volodymyr Zelensky and by Ukraine in general, of course.
Thanks to every hero who took part in the Spiderweb operation, from the brilliant minds who planned it to the fearless operators who carried it out. Your courage, precision and dedication delivered one of the most extraordinary blows to Russian military infrastructure since the full-scale invasion began. Alexandra, you... Yeah.
Could I add just one thing?
Yeah,
I noticed one interesting thing in American media. They are commenting on the operation. They are sometimes using Spiderweb 1. So this would suggest that there can be Spiderweb 2, 3, 4, 5, and maybe there's something else. So this adds up to the pressure, let's say, on the Russian side, and of course it's also really praised by the American media.
We're waiting for Spiderweb 2, and you said about talks with Russia. Ukraine will propose a ceasefire during talks with Russia in Istanbul. The proposal calls for a complete and unconditional ceasefire, says Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. If Russia rejects a full ceasefire now, what else needs to be proven about who wants this war to go on? Could this offer be the final test of whether Russia's leadership is capable of acting in good faith or just addicted to war?
And we are seeing right now that the Trump administration is frustrated with what is happening. This frustration has been seen throughout the last few days and even weeks. And but Trump believes in his personal dominance and that he can dominate geopolitical reality of the world, and that all foreign leaders will not defy him. He will assert control. And what we are seeing that Putin is ignoring and humiliating Donald Trump. First of all, President Putin is portraying President Trump as, in Russian media, as someone who doesn't mean that much. And of course, in the American media, and of course, the American administration knows so well what is happening in Russian propaganda. And Donald Trump is getting more and more frustrated. He doesn't want to escalate. He doesn't want those tariffs, actually sanctions on Russia, to be to go through Congress, first of all, because we are, as we've discussed with you already previously, those Sanctioning Russia Act and the second the Sanctioning Russia Act in the Senate, and the other act on sanctions in the lower chamber, they are being reviewed right now in the committees of the American Congress, and Donald Trump doesn't want that to go through. He doesn't want it to be voted on by congressmen, because for him this would mean the rupture of his relationship with Vladimir Putin. And Donald Trump strongly believes that he can restore those relations, or he can make those relations work for everyone's benefit through trade, through financial means, through some long-term strategic interests and financial interests, and less pressure. That's his approach. But now we are seeing that his personal diplomacy has backfired. He tried to pressure Zelensky, and we saw this pressure, of course, during the Oval Office meeting, and later on it weakened a little bit during the Vatican meeting. But even recently, when Donald Trump was answering questions of the reporters, one of the reporters, and mind you, it's a Fox News reporter, he asked a question saying that it's so difficult to deal with Putin. He's so stubborn. And immediately Donald Trump said, and President Zelensky, he's stubborn. Zelensky's also. So this pressure on Volodymyr Zelensky is seen, of course, but Trump, who promised an easy way out of the war, of this conflict, as Russia would say, due to his personal relationship, that all proven hollow, that didn't work. And so this frustration boils over. And I think that this frustration, of course, as soon as the American side sees that memorandum, as the Russian side calls it, those proposals, this peace proposals, I'm sure they were dragging time just because those peace proposals were nothing short of a no-go, nothing short of impossible, totally impossible. This is an overreach by Putin. This is an overreach by the Kremlin. And of course, the President Trump's power will be seen as eroding if this happens, because so many times we've heard Vladimir stop and things like that. They're talking about strikes on civilians, on peaceful Ukrainians. Trump talked about it, not only about those soldiers that are dying on the front lines, but also about civilians. He threatened tariffs, he threatened different sanctions on Russia, but nothing happened. So he is himself also, he doesn't want to go through because he still believes that Putin might be interested in some financial opportunities, let's say, with the American side. But as we all know, what is important for Vladimir Putin is the restoration of the Soviet Union. That's his main goal. And as Dan Hoffman, the former CIA bureau chief in Moscow, puts it, the only way Putin can negotiate is if you put a weapon to his belly. That's, I'm quoting here. So this is the only way to really start the real negotiation. And what we've seen yesterday, what we've seen with those attacks, with those strikes, is a way to put a weapon to the belly, but we are seeing it from the Ukrainian side. So the Ukrainian fighters, once again, are saving the day. Not the weapons of the West, not the weapons of the US or of Europe, but the fighters of the Ukrainian army. And maybe this will inspire somehow President Trump to move a little faster. Although what we are seeing, and we have to really look at the reality of things, not what we have in our fantasies, and not wishful thinking, not go into those wishful thinking ideas that maybe President Trump would impose harsh tariffs right now. No, he doesn't want to. He wants to trade. He wants to trade with Russia. He wants to trade. He already got the minerals deal with Ukraine. He wants to have some kind of a deal with Russia, and he wants to trade with Europe. He doesn't want Europe to spend that much money on the war. He wants everything to end, and for everyone to, as he said about India and Pakistan, not to trade nuclear weapons and flying rockets, not to trade rockets flying into each other's territory, but to trade. Just trade and buy and sell, etc., etc. That's what he wants. And right now we are seeing that he himself is a little bit dragging the time. But let's see what Congress does, because the Senate, the upper chamber, they already have more than 80 votes for those sanctioning Russia Act, and they might really act this week. Maybe not President Trump.
Alexandra, a bit more about special operation, about, what we're talking about. Trump has not responded, but Musk has. Elon Musk said drones are becoming a key tool in modern warfare. Large-scale attack on Russia's strategic aviation confirmed that drones represent the future of combat. Musk responded briefly to special operation by Ukrainian security service. He emphasized that the future belongs to drones. Drones are the future of warfare, manned aircraft are not. He said, given Musk's often ambiguous stance on Ukraine, does his praise for drone warfare signal a shift in his views, or simply admiration for technological innovation? And what about Musk? Where is he?
Well, I think he admired the operation, of course. This is a amazing technological operation, of course, and still we don't know all the details, how did it happen. But of course, it's the admiration, what we are seeing from him. But I must say that since Elon Musk left the White House, we can talk now again about Elon Musk, the businessman, first of all. Definitely, yes, of course, he is in Trump's orbit. He stays close to President Trump. We will definitely see him during some dinners or events at the White House for sure, because he's so interested to be close to the government due to his SpaceX program, of course, and everything that he is doing in that regard. So he is very close to the government, but he has been in the government for 130 days. That's the time he could be as just appointed by the White House, and he didn't go through in Congress. He didn't want to become the real government employee, because to become a real government employee, you need to go through hearings in the Senate, and he didn't want to do that. So he came back to his business deals, and what we are seeing now, even in those last 30 days of Musk officially being part of the government, we were seeing him posting on X mostly about business deals. If you compare it to what you saw, just go back to January, for example, January 2025, February, March. Just go back there and look at his feed on X. He was posting 9 out of 10 posts were about politics, 9 out of 10, and just one about Tesla or SpaceX or something, or business. But everything else was about politics. Right now, things are absolutely different. 9 out of 10 are about business. We were seeing what's been happening with Tesla. Their revenue came down, and now the stocks went down, and they don't cost as much as they used to. So now Elon Musk is trying to repair the damage that he did to the company, to Tesla and Neuralink and other companies that he actually owns, or he's a CEO of. So right now he's trying to repair the damage, but every once in a while he posts something about politics. And I would like to remind you that I'm sure everyone remembers that at the beginning of the full-scale invasion, he said that he would fight Putin one-on-one. Why need to go through with bombarding Ukraine? Just let's fight one-on-one. That was his proposal during one of the streams, and he even posted it on X. And of course, we remember Starlinks that play a big part in Ukraine, of course, even though, yes, we also all remember, I'm sure, that the bridge, that Elon Musk didn't allow to hit the Crimea bridge, that is actually talking about you cannot hit Russian territory. Actually, it's internationally recognized Ukrainian territory. But let's put it aside. But so those ambiguous tweets, ambiguous messages by Elon Musk, we've seen them throughout the full-scale invasion. But right now, I think it's the admiration, first of all. And now maybe he was so concentrated on domestic politics. He was so concentrated on Doge. He was so concentrated on firing people and closing down some programs, the DEI programs of the US government, that he didn't really pay that much attention on foreign politics, apart from Saudi Arabia, of course, where he traveled together with President Trump. But right now, probably he's seeing the situation differently. He's seeing the situation in a different light. And Elon Musk most probably is signaling also about on whose side he is. Maybe that might change, but at least first of all, we didn't see Starlink being turned off, for example, even though there were some messaging about that too, but it wasn't turned off. And now this praise for the operation. By the way, if we compare the Ukraine's operation to the Israeli operation, back then Musk didn't praise that. I mean, the pager operation, but it was way back when Elon Musk was the special government employee, and he didn't talk about foreign politics that much. Right now, we are seeing let's say, new old Elon Musk, making Elon Musk great again. He is coming back to himself. Most probably, he wants to be seen in a different light right now. He said that he will most probably now not give that much money to politics. He said that he's done enough, and I think we all agree that he's done enough, and that he would not invest that much in political campaigns. He said in one of the latest interviews, that if he would see the reason to do it, he would do it. So that's why President Trump wants him by his side, because the elections are coming in 2026. And of course, Trump would want Elon Musk to invest in certain politicians, certain MAGA, Republican MAGA, not all Republican, just MAGA politicians. So he would keep Elon Musk close. But we are seeing now new old Elon Musk, I would put it this way.
Alexandra, also President Donald Trump on Saturday night reposted a baseless claim on Truth Social that former President Joe Biden was executed in 2020 and replaced with clones or robots. The original post, made by an anonymous Truth Social user who often spreads outlandish claims, suggested that Biden was replaced with clones, doubles, and robotic engineered soulless, mindless entities. Trump published a link to the post to his nearly 10 million followers without adding any context or explanation. The original poster's account has a little more than 5,000 followers. What does it say about Donald Trump's leadership that he's amplifying baseless conspiracy theories to millions without clarification or context?
One of the first things that my colleagues, my Russian language colleagues, started talking about is that Professor Solovey probably got a green card, the one who claimed that Putin is in a refrigerator for a long time now. It's a pleasure to think about it, but we are seeing that even if it's true, there are other, let's say, Putins that are still waging war and fight, and rockets are flying to Ukraine, and they want to just take the whole of Ukraine. But in any case, this comes on the heels of what President Trump has been saying of the auto pen of Biden, because during Biden's presidency, and we've been learning more and more about what's been happening during those 4 years of the Biden administration, he really didn't sign that much documents. A president needs to sign many, many documents. As you remember, President Trump loves to sign documents with his huge black pen in front of audiences. During his first day in office on January 20th, he even signed executive orders in front of thousands of people, and in front of a crowd with cheering crowds, just loving the fact that they are seeing how President Trump signs executive orders, even though they were stricken down. Many of them were stricken down by the courts later on, but it doesn't matter. It was a show. It's such a great show. So President Trump loves when he signs an order in front of the press, for example, he loves to show it to everyone, for everyone to see, while President Biden often used the auto pen. Auto pen is this special, I wouldn't say printer, but it's a a way to sign documents with a real pen according to exactly to the way it is signed. So it's AI, it's computer operated. So anyone can actually put a document in that machine and it would be signed exactly how the president signs it. President Trump has been saying that it's unlawful. Actually, it's lawful. AutoPen is used quite a lot by different politicians because, as you can imagine, they need to sign so many documents, including, for example, happy birthday cards or things like that for the staff members or for anyone in the government. So AutoPen is actually used by presidents and by different politicians quite a lot. And right now, after those accusations that Biden actually wasn't able to be president, and right now, thanks to the book and due to the book Original Sin by Jake Tapper of CNN and Alex Thompson, another journalist, we are learning more and more of what's been happening in the White House during Biden presidency, and things do not look good. They even used in the book Original Sin, they even used the word Politburo of the White House. That's who was ruling the White House, actually, and that's who was ruling apparently, or according to the book, that's who was actually ruling the country. Just a few people that were close to Biden and that were telling him basically what to do. So right now, the Congress wants to investigate, and right now it is apparent that 4 people operated that AutoPen. So 4 people had access to that machine, that they could bring the document in and just press one button and have the document signed by Biden, but not by Biden, by his signature. And so these claims by Trump come on the heels of that information. And that baseless and really conspiracy theory at its finest, I would put it this way. A conspiracy theory, just a great example. If you have a dictionary and you put in conspiracy theory there, that's what it should be. Like that's what it is. A conspiracy theory. Oh, Biden was executed in 2020. Executed by who? How? It's Biden was cloned, and robotic, engineered, soulless, mindless entities are what you see, not Biden. The Democrats did know the difference. That was the Post. And of course, these are baseless claims. These are claims that are only discussed by the far right part of the Republican Party. I wouldn't even call it a Republican Party. It's the MAGA, far right part of it. And I don't know how would it be seen by the American public, but I must say that Republicans and the White House is trying to downplay the situation. Well, yes, he reposted something. It's an opinion. It's an opinion. Yeah, everyone is entitled to an opinion. So yes, he reposted it. It doesn't mean anything. That's what we're hearing right now. But actually, this brings us back to that discussion about how much Biden knew what was going on and how much Biden was in the loop and how much Biden really ruled the country and how much he was the president, or was it AutoPen? Not, of course, soulless, mindless, engineered, robotic entities, but it's coming back to this discussion about AutoPen and about the White House Politburo. And here I am quoting Jake Tapper and Alex Thompson, American journalists that published the book Original Sin.
Alexandra, thank you so much for this interesting conversation. As always, political analyst, European Leadership Network UK member Alexandra Filippenko was with us today. I wish you all the best and see you.
Thank you very much for having me. See you.